Hey runners, my name is Garrett McLaughlin, and in this video series, I want to show you 3 core exercises that are not making you a better runner. So what we typically see that a lot of runners are completing some type of core training, but the problem is all exercises aren't created equal. Some, just due to the demands of running, do not carry over and translate to running as much as we think they are. So in this video series, I'm going to show you what those exercises are and how to take that a step further to then match the demands of running to help you improve running performance and hopefully reduce your risk of injury. The first exercise in this series are crunches. Again, crunches, when we look at running itself, there's not many instances where we're going into this spine flex position. Yes, it's one of those exercises you typically see in the gym, crunches, sit-ups, and a lot of flexion-based exercises. But when it comes to running, we really want to switch that up. Use these muscles on the front side of the core to help more so fire, engage to prevent extension than to pull us into flex position. So taking more of a stability approach can really work wonders for your running. So instead of performing your traditional crunches, okay, just crunches like that, what we can actually work on is what's called the dead bug exercise. So to perform the dead bug exercise, we're looking more stability, like I mentioned before, and using these same muscles through the front side of the core here to prevent my spine from going into extension. So I'm really trying to secure and stabilize pelvis to rib cage, because if I'm firing, engaging here, I can't then arch my back. So really good from a running standpoint to help improve your position and posture as you run, rather than just solely strengthen the abdominals. So in this position, 90 here at the hips, shoulders, and knees. I'm going to take a nice deep exhale, let that rib cage compress down. As I get into that position, I'm going to just engage my abs there lightly to help hold my position, because I don't want my ribs to flare and open up. As soon as that happens, my lower back tends to arch. So in this position, engaging the abs, front side of the core, opposite arm, opposite leg, moving at the same time. So still challenging a lot of those same muscles that you would while performing crunches, but now from a stability and anti-extension standpoint. So using the muscles to prevent motion rather than create it. So completing anywhere from 2 to 3 sets of 10 repetitions is a good way to start this exercise, but a very good exercise that, again, addresses the same exact area, but in a different way to focus on stability. The second core exercise that is not making you a better runner is what's called this standing lateral flexion, right? So you see a lot of people in the gym holding a dumbbell in hand, trying to really work obliques, QL, this lateral core area. So what we do is we tend to load up a dumbbell on one side, so it's pulling me down to this side, and then I'm going to laterally flex, engage into that other side. Again, once again, we look at the demands of running. There are not a lot of instances while you run that you really want to work on moving your body into that laterally flexed position. These muscles are firing to really stabilize rib cage, spine, and pelvis to maintain efficiency as you run and stability on a single leg. So instead of working on that standing side bend or standing resisted lateral flexion, what we can do instead is a very simple side plank, okay? So a couple different ways we can work on the side plank here. Setting up modified version if you need to first, knees at 90 degrees, feet are straight behind me, elbows under the shoulder, and I'm pushing away from the ground, holding a modified side plank like that. Same exact muscles on this lower aspect of the core, obliques, QL, everything that's around the side there, but using these muscles to help hold my body up and stabilize in that side plank position, preventing myself from laterally flexing like you saw a second ago, rather than creating that range of motion. Next thing we can do here is progress that side plank, full side plank here, long lever, legs straight, body up, pushing away with the arm and the shoulder. Same exact muscles, obliques, QL, everything down the side of the core here to stabilize rib cage, spine, and pelvis. Really lock those into a good side-lying position to maintain stability. So that's a very simple way that you can use kind of what you created, the foundation from a strengthening standpoint with that standing side bend, and then put that into more of a stabilization exercise that translates over to running more effectively. The third and final exercise in this series of 3 core exercises that are not making you a better runner are what's called standing trunk rotation. Again, this is one you might be able to justify to some degree because running, again, there is this small amount of rotation. This opposite arm and opposite leg are moving at the same time to really transfer energy, lower body, upper body, and vice versa. So there is a small amount of rotation going on there at the trunk and the spine, but there's really no instances where we're having to move against this big heavy load or heavy resistance. So just to show you what that trunk rotation looks like, if we put a counterweight on here, hands out to the side, body turned towards the handle, I'm just gonna come out, turn, rotate, and then control back. So they're, again, never moving through this range of motion to this degree. I could justify that doing kind of limited range of motion. Trunk rotations, a little bit more similar and functional when it comes to the sport of running because we are moving to that degree, but never moving through an extended range of motion. A very simple way to change or modify that exercise to better translate to running is to complete what's called the Palloff press. So the Palloff press, if I just show you in a very simple position here, I'm just gonna go tall kneeling, one of my favorite positions when it comes to core training. It helps engage glutes, abs, and core stabilizers. So here, the handle comes right up to the center of the body. I'm engaging all these muscles, still engaging those rotational muscles throughout the core, but now I'm using those to engage and really prevent rotation rather than create it. So just like every other exercise, using the same exact muscles, but in a slightly different way to prevent rotation. So for those of you especially that you notice, hey, I have a whole lot of rotation going on at the spine, creating more stiffness and more stability around the spine with the Palloff press could be a good idea to help limit that excessive range of motion that then can alter your mechanics, your optimal mechanics when it comes to running. Okay, so there are 3 core exercises that are not making you a better runner. Please feel free to reach out with any questions as it relates to core training and running. One of the biggest things to take home from this video are definitely make sure you're targeting your specific weak links. That's first and foremost. So getting in more of an individualized core training program is important. But the next thing is specificity. If you want what you're working on within the gym or at home to translate to a specific sport or activity, really understand the demands during that activity and then match your program to meet those demands. Doing that will provide you the best results possible. Again, reach out with any questions. I hope you found value in this video.